So I want this to be a workshop. I created a deck a long time ago to meet the deadline. And I want this to be like everyone chatting, and there's a lot of people in here with an incredible amount of brain power and experience. So the topic that I'm supposed to talk about is the lessons learned. For those that don't know DeStor, DeStor was originally with Protocol Labs as a network growth. We did a lot of learning at Protocol Labs, and I'm actually going to talk about how we thought that those learnings were going to help us, that we achieved product market fit, that we figured out our ICP, that we figured out our persona, we figured out our messaging and what they wanted. And then we nucleated out and created DeStor, and we built it on those beliefs and understandings and all those really smart, pithy insights, and they all turned out to be a failure. So it's really about a masterclass in failure of, even though you think you know your ICP and you think you understand them really well and their behaviors and you have all the tools and all of the experience, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know exactly what you're doing, and if you're not picking up on the insights and actual market signals from your target group. So I think everyone here knows like the importance of the marketing strategy. The go-to-market strategy is all about startup growth. A lot of people do this later on. They're really iterating quickly on product and how they can quickly get to mainnet or launch MVP or whatever it is they're trying to do. And a lot of businesses don't do any of this. They don't think about their go-to-market strategy, and they think we can just go out on X.com and we can get really busy and we can, create a bunch of tweets, but there's really no way to build an actual inbound methodology where you're actually growing leads. So this is the one that I'm going to talk about, is audience alignment, ensuring that all your messaging, your positioning, and marketing efforts align with the needs of their pain point. The big mistake that we made is, and I have a persona slide I think in here, or some slides that I can share later, is we have a persona, Innovative Ian, and we know him really well, and he was the one that we got. We did 200 calls with and spoke with and heard about all of the things that he was frustrated with, how we could help him. He was Filecoin friendly. And when we actually came to building out the DeStor flows and the ability to come to the site, we thought we'll capture him the same way, but we'll make it easier because he's just going to come in from filecoin.io. He's going to click on store. He's going to come to us, and we're going to say, here's a free trial, enter your credit card, off you go. So we built it. So this is it here. They would easily convert into a free trial off of filecoin.io. They'd been doing it. We just didn't have a very simple mechanism to just give decentralized storage a try. And then in reality, crickets. No one clicked. No one filled out a form. Nobody. We went from 10 discovery calls a week and 30 form fills to nothing for months. We got 12 over a 3-month period. And it was all because we created friction, because we weren't true to his ethos, which is he was skeptical of, cautiously optimistic about Filecoin. And he really needed to have that interaction, and he needed to have the ability to try, not have to enter a credit card, not have to open a form. And so we created all of these friction points for him, thinking we were being smart when we weren't true to the ethos of that ICP and what he wanted. We went back and we fixed it. And then, so we've changed it now. There's no credit card, and the messaging is just give it a try. And we've seen a 4x increase. So we had 48 trials and people actively on it. And now it's the #1 lever also on paid search. People come to paid search, they see this CTA of give it a try, and they're giving it a try. It's not converting into sales yet, but they're giving it a try. And that's all we've been asking them to do. So anyway, that's our big failure. We thought we were being really smart. We spent a ton of money on dev to make this all work and make this payment rail work, and we failed. So yeah, there it is. Go from buy now to try now. How to really upset your target group. Okay, so yeah, mistakes can be great teachers. So be true to your ICP. The other thing I had here was around ideal customer profile. Everyone knows what an ICP is, right? We're all really good at it? Okay. So this is a prompt that I use, and I'm going to give it to people if they want it, but we build these prompts all the time for your persona messaging, and they're really good prompts for going after your investors, building your community, really digging into who they are. So I'm going to be giving everyone a template, but this is my standard prompt for building an ICP. We build a lot of ICPs actually for a lot of folks in the ecosystem. And so this is where everything that we've learned from our verbatims, and then we pump it into this prompt, and then we get these beautiful, and you won't see it because I don't have it. It comes up, and I will share it with you in the Slack channel, or anyway, if you want it, it gives you a really good one. And it's very extensive. And it also, what's really cool is it shows you the channels where they like to be, and the type of communications and the types of piece of content that they want. So I thought we could do an interactive session, but that's not really how this is going at the time. Building your pipeline. How many people here have a CRM where they build pipeline? How many people here? A couple. How many people use HubSpot? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so pipeline components, again, attracting the right attention is really big. I think everyone knows about this and about attracting top of funnel. That's where DeStor sits, as we are the top of funnel. We also do a bit of the mid funnel where we're helping people learn more, educate, and we match them then with a storage provider. We use CRMs so that as we're going through, we can see the points of friction, we can see conversion rates through each point, and we also have lead scoring that we built in. I wasn't sure how much we wanted to get into all of this, but we do have complementary resources. One of them is a market readiness assessment. So if you want us to take you through it, this is more for the storage provider type audience, but we do a 2-week assessment, and at the end of it, you have a scorecard where you literally get a score out of 10, where you know where you need to focus, and we give you all of the templates and playbooks to do it yourself. So there's that one. The playbook for the ChatGPT prompts is there, and if you want, we can do a draw afterwards to see who's a winner. The draw is for 10 hours of consulting work by DeStor, and it can be either on the sales side or it can be on the marketing side. We will take you through the assessment, and then anything that we find from the assessment will give you 10 hours of work. If you're interested, let us know. I was supposed to get like Post-it notes or something, but I think we're okay. I don't know, so if anyone wants to do it, put your name on a Post-it note. So we can do a draw if anyone does. And the other thing is we have a whole ebook, which is the Startup Founder's Guide to Leveraging Fractional RevOps. This is something we're seeing a lot of people starting to do. Fractional services are really great because the majority of startups like us, we can't afford to be bringing in full-time like FTEs that are specialized in their area, that have decades of experience. We just can't afford to bring them in. And as we scale, we do need those skill sets, especially around go-to-market. So we even ourselves use fractional services. So even though we're like a marketing focused agency for a lot of folks, one of our areas that we are not good at or don't have a lot of time for or bandwidth is our x.com for the new DeStor RevOps team. So we've actually hired a group to handle all of our socials for us. And they're acting also as a fractional CMO on the social side. So we totally believe in fractional services, highly recommend them. We also can't all afford creative talent like Gary. And so having fractional design services are something that are really great too. So I think that's really it. Yeah.
I don't know how relevant it is, so maybe it's a waste of mic. But in the past, I worked actually as fractional XYZ in different companies. But what I've seen working with other people who try doing this and actually trying to set up a kind of fractional bench at a VC that I was working with in the past is that people get very anxious after a while because you don't get the job security. And if you're a CFO or CMO or serving that position, sure, you can do it, but you need some kind of knowing that there will be a continuity. So how do you deal with that, and how do you convince people? Or do you just talk to people that are interested in doing that kind of work?
Oh, so do you mean how do we recruit talent? Actually, recruit talent? Yeah, so we recruit talent from people that love to be consultants. They love that they're very comfortable in that risk because it is risk. And we also work with other agencies that are like-minded, where we do rev share with them. So when we bring them leads, anything that they end up closing. It sounds kind of gross, but it's true. We get a rev share off of, and so it's better for us and for everyone's best interest if it's not our area of focus. Yeah, but I do know also a lot of people recently that have been out of work. It's a really good transition for them. A lot of these contracts are time bound, and so because there's so much movement, especially in the creative space right now, they're willing to take the work. And you're getting some really amazing talent that's coming up and being available. And we know a couple people that have actually decided, like, this is awesome. I'm never going back to an office again. I've found really new cool stuff to work on, and they're comfortable with the risk. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have any really bad experiences where they screwed up like we did with an ICP? No? I figured, because I always come up and talk about all the wins and how everything's great. So I thought it'd be good to talk about one where we really screwed up.
Are there any other screwed up things?
There's lots. Yeah, so another thing was a button. We thought putting, we now have SPs that actually have productization, or networks as they're self-defining. And so we thought, wouldn't it be great, since we have these people and we're representing them, that we'll have book a demo? Because that's what everyone wants in enterprise sales. Everyone in enterprise sales says book a demo. It's just a known thing. So we changed our major CTA buttons to book a demo, and no one clicked it. Nobody. Like, it went dead. We thought our HubSpot was broken. Like, it just died. Everything died. Everything just ground and like screeched to this horrible silent moment in Brussels when we launched our business. And no one ever came. Like, no one ever knocked on the door. No one was clicking the buttons. So then I went back in. I was like, what have we changed? What did we do? And I remembered, oh, the button. So I changed book a demo in the top right, the stupid top right button. I changed it back to let's talk. People clicked it. Yeah. So that was a really dumb one. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, lessons for the trenches, it's not glamorous. We do a lot of work that's really unsexy. A lot of it's data-driven, and we love it. And now we look at things like what happens. We A/B test everything, not all at once, obviously, because that's a bad thing to do. But highly recommend, if you do want to have something like HubSpot, you can get HubSpot for $15 a month. It's not a lot of money for a startup edition. And you can actually get the insights where you can see exactly what people are doing, where the points of friction are, where the points of conversion are. And you can really hone your messaging. And what's even better is, I think in the book, I have a whole chapter on marketing automation and some of these, I think the other QR code, I have it, but there's some really good templates on marketing automation and prompts that you can just make it look like you have a team of BDRs, a team of marketers, a whole group of social people doing all your posting. And really it's just like one person with a $15 license. So yeah, highly recommend that for the startup environment. Mm-hmm.
By the way, I wanted to ask, have you had any success or experiments with paid ads on platforms like Twitter?
Yes, I have. I don't have much experience paid on Twitter, to be quite honest, but I have a lot of experience with paid ads on Google Search, Google Ads, and then on LinkedIn. I would say I've burned millions of dollars of useless spend on LinkedIn until the last 2 years. And specifically this now in the last year, we're finding some very good traction where we're getting good form fills, and actually it's not a waste of money. And the cost per click, like I one time ran an ad. I sound like such a loser because I'm telling all my bad stories. I ran an ad and it was a $2,000 click. Yeah, and it was my competitor. Yeah, so that was awesome. So I blew like my month's budget on LinkedIn testing on a click. So so what do? Yeah, it's very good. You screen them out, you block them, and you make sure that you have those in place. But LinkedIn was really dangerous in that way. You could burn your budget with a single click. Now we're doing paid search. We just started it. We were doing it before under PL. We stopped. We became DeStor. We waited till everything was working. We've turned it on. We've been doing paid ads now, I guess, since August. And when you start, you have to build up audience. You just have to rack audience. So you're not just trying to get them to give you awareness. And then once you start getting your awareness building and a certain amount of audience is built, you can start building your clicks, and then you start getting them CTAs, et cetera, and having them convert. We now are reaching the point that they're converting. We've got our cost per lead or cost per click down in the single digits, which is great. I did get a click the other day for $330. It's awesome. But generally it's single digits, it's under $10. We cap it to start when we're learning at $500 a month. And then we go up to, $5,000 a month, et cetera, and you scale it that way. So you're not killing yourself on clicks. What's interesting is for the first time is someone's actually bidding on Filecoin DeStor or on DeStor. So they're bidding on our branded terms. So I guess we've arrived, right? That's like the best. Yeah, but it's terrible because now they're driving up our costs. So where we are in our paid search journey is people are visiting us, but we're getting a hard bounce. Our number one, it's really good for engagement. It's good for things like the state of DeStor reports, case studies. But anyone that we do have to trials, they come and they, see the contact form, but they don't actually fill it. We're getting a bounce off of that. So.
Do you think it changed any metric when ChatGPT came out, since more people want to search directly there rather than on Google searches? So
Yes.
do you saw any difference in price go up and down?
I haven't seen a difference in price, but I have seen a difference since I actually gave a prompt to ChatGPT when if I'm doing copy, or landing pages. I did an A/B test on a landing page that I said to ChatGPT, write this for chat search versus paid search. So, rank it best for you. And it started improving the search to my site, which is really interesting. The landing page that was written for a bot did better than a landing page written for SEO. So I forget what the term is now. It's SC something, but it's SEA. No, SEA. No, it's search engine answer instead of search engine optimization, because you're asking for an answer from a bot. You're asking questions. So that's what it's called now. I think it's called SCA, or something like that. Around answering. But yeah, so I was like, well, that's fascinating. Let's see if it works. And it did work on one page. We did an A/B test on a landing page, and the one that was written for, ChatGPT performs better, which is really odd. So I don't know how you scale that or what you do with that information. It's just a data point. Yeah. How about you?
We haven't run any ads. Yeah, maybe it helps in the recording. Yeah, but yeah, I guess we haven't run any ads yet. Was thinking that maybe we should, but since our audience is still niche out of hackathons and developers and startups, more like bottom-up self-serving pipeline, so we haven't run any ads yet. But I do see that producing good content maybe helps, as you mentioned. Yeah, so that definitely would help. But this is something that I'm also trying to learn more on how do we scale. So something that's still learning in process for me individually as well. Yeah.
I don't know about you, with other people with their content and what they're seeing right now. Our content is organic is our biggest, direct and organic is our biggest driver right now of traffic, and our blogs we're converting really well, but we are terrible on content on Twitter. We have no engagement. We get lots and lots of impressions, which I think is because of FF and other people amplifying, but we don't actually get engagement off of it. So that's something that we've been measuring now. So we get a lot of impressions. We can get, millions of impressions literally in a month. If we're, on top of our content and we're, out there promoting, and we try and release every week something so that we have things to talk about. But it's very shallow, that funnel for us so far. Now, we are predominantly looking at enterprise, and trying to go after Web 2. So it might be that our audience just isn't going to give us what we need there, that they're not going to give us signal. A lot of them might be using X for personal use. Whereas LinkedIn, we get very good engagement on content. Have you tried LinkedIn?
I think LinkedIn, it obviously get more likes and impression, but
Mhm.
hardly I saw any conversion. Twitter works well for us.
Yeah.
That I have personally seen.
Mhm.
Works well. We do have some folks organically telling us, but how much of that goes to conversion? Like we would be better off with that Twitter engagement if we had a token live. We don't have that.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I wonder. That
Mhm.
we have engagement, there is some awareness, but does that convert to business directly? Probably no.
Mhm.
But that's the part of our learning in progress that should we do more on.
Yep.
Search engine we haven't tried much, but something we've been thinking of some time to do.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, just make sure that your site is getting a really good Lighthouse score
Yeah.
or whatever you're using. Like, make sure you're getting a really good Google Lighthouse at minimum before you engage in any kind of paid.
Yeah, that's
Otherwise, you're kind of wasting your money. Yeah. And then also, like, around site hygiene, like if you have too many redirects, things like that, they'll think that it's just like a bad site. It's a dirty site, and you won't get your traffic, which is the worst. But yeah, so technical SEO is a big thing. We obsess on SEO. We run all the tools, and we fight internally on a lot of copy because a lot of us are optimizing for how people search, not how we self-define, which is a very difficult thing too. It's tough because it's an uncomfortable truth that the way that people come to your site and find you is not really how you want to be seen or positioning yourselves necessarily, but that's how your end user, needs the language to be on your website. So isolating to landing pages really helps too. So I would recommend, if you are going to start doing paid search, make sure you're doing pillar pages and landing pages specifically that you can test on that won't affect your technical SEO, because it's not part of your nav. So if you take it down, or you move it out, it doesn't matter. You're not going to have a problem. You won't get penalized for it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks.